Good day, everyone. All right, let me get the link shared out here. We're approaching the New York Open in an hour or so. Hope you all are doing well. All right, let's give everyone a couple minutes to get in here. Before we start saying anything that may or may not matter. Yeah, primarily going to be looking at Bitcoin today. I am interested in shorts. Some version of, we're on the 15-minute chart here. I'll kind of explain maybe a little bit more on a higher time frame, maybe not later, but some version of this. Come take these highs, maybe come run these lows, something like this. But ultimately, looking for locally higher as the primary idea, and looking to short down through these lows. And I'll go over that, the premise of this trade, in a little bit. Just going to let people have a few minutes to get in here. But the main idea here is just getting live for a little bit, chatting, maybe taking the trade live, and talking about why I'm taking it or why I'm not taking it. There's some ideas too of breaking up out of these highs. And if there's no weakness here, then I'm just hopefully not going to short. There's no reason to be short. Yeah, the main premise of the short here, I mean, there's a lot of ways to think about it, but we have a lot of untapped lows. It's got front run slightly. It's got front run slightly. Obviously, we have this major low. And it's just, price is in obviously a major downtrend. Talked a little bit about that on Twitter and obviously in the Discord. And so, there's been some conversation about Elliott wave ideas and whatnot, but I think just simple horizontal levels here, some simple trending structures. Bullish ideas without taking this low exist, just running all these lows. And bearish ideas. I'm not going to explain the same idea 1,000 times. Somebody asked me, they said, hey, you should get on a live stream. And the truth is, I feel it's a little boring because it's just taught on this time frame. It's just talking about the same ideas over and over again. So for me, basically how I know I'm going to trade this is while this downtrend is intact, I have a bias towards lower as the primary. There are some ideas of running these highs. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about that. But ultimately, trading down into these lows as the primary thesis here, with the secondary thesis being a lower high here, or higher low rather, out of this ascending structure, come retest some of this liquidity. I'm going to be looking for longs down here to hedge out my primary idea. Probably look for a TP1 and let the rest carry higher. And obviously if all this breaks out and whatnot, then I'm going to be looking for new long trades as well. But this is even in the bearish scenarios, in many of the bearish scenarios, it's important to remember you're just talking about probabilities, right? So even in the bearish scenarios, this is a somewhat probable area to find price bouncing. Run all these lows, front run this low, lots of people bearish, shorting aggressively. And then even in the bearish cases, running back up towards this high, and then rejecting, plays in many of the bearish scenarios. And then obviously in the bullish scenarios, well, then price just probably carries off a higher low and whatnot. So longing here makes sense in the bearish scenarios and the bullish scenarios. That's how I view this. So willing to take longs, lock in some profits, and look for new setups if need be. I am in a scalp long right now. It's just kind of a simple idea. I'll explain it, but lots of scalp trades, right? Like there's so many internal ideas for scalps, TP1s, this bouncing off of the GP of this move yesterday. I had shorts up here. Got a TP1. I didn't get this scalp long off the GP. I had ideas for shorts up here, but didn't take them because there was no reason. This definitely could have been a local short setup as well. But anyways, the idea, so all I'm talking about right now is all on the higher time frames, or what I've already talked about. The idea for being short, for being long locally, just as a scalp, is essentially this. Mentioned in the Discord, just a bunch of aggressive shorts coming in. We had lots of aggro longs up at the top of the impulse earlier today. Probably could have shorted that, frankly, if I was paying more attention to the pre-New York Open flow and price action. But anyways, just the 1 minute chart. Come take out a bunch of local lows, bounce off the GP. And that's what we're getting here. Just a little scalp long setup targeting a rally into the New York Open. Just come take all these lows. We have some really aggressive sellers and shorters coming in on Bybit. Can point that out in order flow really quickly. So down at the lows, we can just see all this aggressive selling, risk coming on, open interest increasing. Down here in the bid-ask profile, you can see negative delta, 22 million negative delta and a 44 million delta candle, or volume candle, 50 million volume candle, 29 million negative delta, aggressive shorting, aggressive shorting, aggressive shorting. So all these aggressive shorts probably likely to get squeezed out at least into the open, more likely than not. So it's okay to have a bearish bias on a medium time frame, but looking for these highs to be taken, maybe a bit of a bullish divergence in order flow, take a scalp long, look to cover and get short up here. I think seems relatively reasonable. I will say, you know, I'm not in. There's a part of me, it's like I want to just kind of chill, take a trade maybe here if I get one, and you know, not even get live, but I don't mind. This is gonna be kind of a chill live stream. May or may not take a trade. I'm in a long now, and we'll see what happens into the New York Open. So anyways, this is the long setup I'm in right now. Maybe start squeezing out some of those shorts now. New York Open on the way. Downtrend intact. There's certainly some ideas here. Like, I mean, everyone and their dog has to be watching all of this trending structure. I'm not even going to relate this to the Elliott wave ideas. It's just how many times can we get these perfectly clean trendline rejections here without eventually this squeeze happening through these highs. So I'm hoping we take these lows first in that scenario, because I'm going to have longs TP1 probably locked in there, then carry the rest through these highs. And if not, Looking for that long at 67K. Ultimately trying to win no matter what happens. Find longs off nice levels at the lows, lock in profits, find shorts off the highs, which I might do today. I'm in a long now. If we just break out, I would actually do quite well. But it's very unlikely that this long, even though I have a Pico bottom long in the context of today's price action, but the odds I don't just cover this at the highs are very low, very, very low. There's so much I need to be willing to cover it. I'm just longing into a bigger short to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way. I mean, the main idea here, I'll talk a little bit about it. You have a GP up here, some local highs. I wouldn't be surprised to see price carry a little higher here and even tap into something like this. Either way, there's a lot in here that I'm going to be willing to short and cover my longs. Certainly happy to just, this is just a case where you don't need to think about your overarching bias for getting long here, because it's not really, has nothing to do with it, right? It's just a little bit of local structure on the 1 minute chart and a bunch of aggressive sellers coming in here, aggressive short risk coming in here, getting squeezed out. I mean, just long this, it's all internal. Has nothing to do with where you think price will be a week from now, as more likely. Yeah, what else do I want to say? I mean, I think this is ultimately, my view here has been essentially this on the medium time frames. This is over the last several days in the Discord. Just, essentially this, right? From a few days ago, looking up to run these highs into the level that we're approaching as the major ideas. These lows, these highs, and then what happens from here is probably important. Do we hold the descending structure? Just saying here, you don't really have to have, this is how I view the current primary ideas, but ultimately I think it's perfectly fine not to have a strong bias about which direction price will break from here. Instead, just looking to trade around these daily highs and daily lows. So you have these highs, you have these lows, this level to the upside, levels to the downside. Obviously you can get in here and look for scalps like the one I'm in now, but it's all this internal structure is pretty well defined, and it's sort of obvious where the short setups are here and the long setups. It's just a matter of if they work or not, right? So we have to the downside these lows, to the upside these, and do we reject from this descending structure again or not? And we have some nice internal structure for potential triggers. These local highs, trending structure, previous highs, trending fibs, and it's just a matter of if this happens today or something more like this, and we run these highs. I personally think it makes perfect. You have to be really bearish. You have to be really bullish to not at least be considering shorts off of this structure, right? Like, it doesn't mean, like today even, I'm not just saying, oh, I'm short no matter what. I'm short here because even if we go higher, we'll reject. I don't know. I think there are ideas of squeezing out through these highs, but at the very least, all this descending structure, we're coming back up to retest the highs of our downtrend. If this breaks, this is kind of a break of a downtrend ultimately. Can fake out for sure. I think probably price carries higher in that situation, but we'll see. But at the very least, if you're not considering putting on a little bit of short risk here, depending on what happens, then you have to be pretty bullish, right? You have to be saying, oh, this is going to break out, and it very well may, but at the very least, we'll see what happens, and maybe there might be some reason to consider a short. Yes. So Richard says, lucky I canceled my LATF subscription. That's the paid Discord last month, but for a while and I'm still in the channels, am I not supposed to be kicked out once the subscription expires? By the way, content is peak. I just need to save up. Yeah, there's an issue right now where some people's roles aren't being removed, and trying to resolve it with there's just an issue with the service that hosts the website where that notification isn't getting put through to the system. But we have a way of just wiping everybody's roles that is affected, or that might not be having it automatically removed, but it might wipe some of the members that are still paying. So anyways, right now I just opted for, there's going to be a few people right now that have memberships that shouldn't while we get it resolved. And I'm not going to say that I don't care, but essentially just consider it a freebie for now while we get it sorted out. Should be sorted out soon though. If you're currently a member that your subscription isn't active and you're still getting, one thing that's surprising to me is there's been quite a few members who have had that be the case, and they've reached out to either say, hey, I'm still a member, just wanted to let you know that I canceled and there must be an error, or I canceled and I've still been a member and I want to pay, but I didn't redo like the paid with crypto or whatever. So anyways, the honor system there has been pretty, people ratting on themselves basically, like you are doing right now. Ooh, Frank the Tank Degen. I'll talk to Frank the Tank for just a second. Maybe a little harsh here, but Frank the Tank, I banned him in the Discord today. So he says, he's in the chat here, and he says, I just saw someone say, Frank, the paid chat is pretty active. All right. But anyways, just saying no one shares in the Discord. And I just, a couple weeks ago or 10 days ago, or I guess a couple weeks ago, so he says, great stream today. So much alpha in your mindset. Processed into the exit the market. Really enjoyed it. So thankful you answered my question. This is just a free member. Today he messaged, no one's sharing enough. I think it's time I leave here. So I just banned him. It's just like you show up in literally a free community and you're complaining that you're not getting enough value out of it after a week. Personally, I have a busy life. But as far as the paid Discord, literally probably not a day has gone by for the last several years without hundreds of messages in all of the chats. And I myself have something like 70,000 messages in the Discord. And if you don't want to join the paid Discord, then okay, but it's crazy that people complain. Yeah. I don't know. Somebody else says you just talk too much. You don't. What did they say? I mean, honestly, there is a point where it's just like, people are so. It's like, hey, Lucky, can you write a thread for me today on why I suck at trading? No. I have some trades I'm interested in. I just want to take them and chill. Yeah. So Frank says you have good content, just more discourse would be great. personally, I have 65,000 people that follow me on Twitter. There's somewhere, I honestly haven't looked, somewhere around 1,000 paid members, 10,000 public members. I mean, it's not. Sometimes I get dozens of private messages, and there's literally 100 messages in the public or private Discord every day, probably. It's like, and I'm a busy person. It's like I don't know what people are expecting from me, but as far as the public chat goes, you know, in terms of people being active, what can I say? I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot to say in terms of understanding. I've tried to do a lot in the public Discord. I mean, there's 10,000 people in there, and I've done so much content in there. I've done challenges. I've done all types of things. I've written essentially like a book's worth of content in there, and it's all available for free. 0.1% of people in the public Discord do anything, and it's not to take away from the people that do anything, but it's something like that, and even simple things. And a lot of the people that do things, they do it as if it's like a favor to you, like oh, I put in a little bit of work today, you know, and you know, what do I get for that? It's like you get to progress as a human being and as a trader. But it's crazy, the private members, the people who are paying to be there, literally put in 100 times the effort. It's not even close. It's like there's individual members who have a higher output than 10,000 people combined, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the kind of reason for that mentality difference is. Yeah, the content in the public Discord is low, but it's free. The input from the community is low. In the paid Discord, literally have every single day, I mean, this is just in the last hour, honestly, in the chat, every single day you have people trading actively, and some very good traders, I would add, sharing ideas. You have me literally posting trading ideas every single day, and it just is what it is. I don't know. I don't really feel an obligation to be doing full-time content in the public Discord. I just don't. But I'll just say, even without myself, there's just a higher output from the paid members than in the public. So, Sergeant Rufa, I'm just curious, what's your Discord name? And ultimately, I'm just waiting to take a trade here in the New York Open. It's about 30 minutes away. I either will or won't take it. I don't know. I mean, it might not be bullshit, but how you're saying you've been a paid member before? But how do you only have messages in the public Discord starting from 2 weeks ago? You were a paid member, but there's I don't think there's anything here. I get notifications. I can search who's been a paid member. You've never been a paid member. There's no notification you ever joined as a paid member. There's no messages from you in any of the paid member Discords. And you're a free member, but you complain literally more than any paid member has. I mean, there's not much to say here. I'm literally know every trade I'm gonna take for the next month, depending on what happens. I'm gonna take this short if I get a trigger. I'm gonna take this long. I'm gonna take this long, and I'm gonna take this short if we break out. I just hate. I just don't like. I just don't like people who are liars. I mean, they might not be liars, but you have people who are like complaining. You're not posting enough. I'm gonna leave this community. So I said, okay, I'll help you, and I ban them. And then they say, I've been a paid member. And I say, there's no evidence you have. What's your Discord name? Your current Discord name certainly has not ever been a member. And they say, it wasn't worth it. I was a paid member. They've only posted in public chats. I obviously have a back-end system. I can just search a name. They've never been a member. And then they say, it's just like these types of people, you literally don't want them in your community, or you just don't want to deal with them because they complain. They've been here for a week. They lie, and maybe they're not lying, but it's like, well, then just say what your Discord name is. And then you get called out. Then they say, why are you focusing on all this negativity? Just drop it. Just offer value. Sam says, I was a paid member. Worth it by leaps and bounds. Pricing probably should be $1,000 a month. True. Is this the same Sam who's doing the transition to being a trader on Twitter? Bro, it's not about commenting. It's you making the point of coming in and saying, I'm not getting enough, so I think it's time for me to leave. And I said, okay, I'll help you, and I banned you. I mean, and now you're saying, why would you ban me just for sharing my opinion? Your opinion was, you're not doing enough for me, so I'm going to leave, and I banned you. That's it. And this is what I hate about these gaslighting freaks. Literally, you in the Discord saying, like, I can search your name. Here's your name. Every post you've ever made. Thanking me. Whoa! I just watched your live stream. I got my public live stream. Got so much value. I can't believe you're answering my questions. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then a week later, you're like, I'm leaving this community. I haven't gotten enough value. And now you're saying you've been a paid member. It's like you're just a liar. It's just annoying. How about you consider adding some value, Frank? You ever consider that? Many thanks. I was looking for value from the overall community. How about you add something? Stop worrying about what other people are doing or how they're contributing to you, and start trying to add some value to other people's lives. All right, New York opens in 25 minutes. There is just something to be said about, honestly, this might come as a shock to some of you guys. Do you think I care? Like, people like, I don't want to, don't talk about this, just focus on alpha. It's like, I don't care. I'm literally logging on to take a trade, and I'm hopping on a live stream. It's like, I don't care if you watch the live stream. I don't care if you don't. Honestly, it's like the people are like, I'm going to unfollow you on Twitter. It's like, okay. Some pretty aggressive longs coming in on Binance. I would say more degen longing on Binance. We didn't really see as much degen shorting at this local low as we did on Bybit. We have this bullish div. This is what I'm long off, kind of squeezing out this aggressive selling. Hopefully take the high into the New York Open. Hopefully get a short. Yeah, well, I don't know what it is. Like, I really don't know what it is. Like, people think you owe them something. Because it's not even like because they watch your live stream. There's literally nothing I get from you being here, really. Like, there's nothing. I'm offering something. I'm gonna explain why I may not take a short up at the highs here. Do it live, log off, and that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just like this is kind of addressing two questions at once or two comments at once, which is for me to get live here. It's like you're hanging out and you're talking, right? It's like if I'm not live, I literally do nothing. I'm in a scalp long. I'm looking for the highs to get taken, and it's like what the, people want two things. They want you to. I mean, people want a few things. They want you to get them into a winning trade. They want you to make them money. They want a lot of things. They want you to explain why you took this trade if it ends up working, and then they want you to explain why you didn't if it ends up not working. And but in the meantime, we don't really know what's going to happen to the New York Open. I think it's somewhat likely that price takes these highs. I mean, that's the idea. It may or may not. We have to get live a little bit before the level comes into play to add any kind of context to what you're doing, right? For the people who don't have it. That'd be mostly people not in the Discord, but some of them that are in the Discord, or to explain some context. And then they want you to like just kind of produce alpha for them in the meantime, right? Like you're live. Really all I'm doing is looking to take a trade and really looking to explain this. Everything between, I mean, I'm in this long, I kind of talked about that long, but everything between now and this is just waiting. And yeah, I mean, it's like most of the time here is going to be doing nothing. And if I'm not really in the mood to, you know, like I said, write a thread about why you're a bad trader, then it's like you almost don't want to get live. The core of what everyone's here for ultimately is probably the idea of shorting this, right? Getting into a trade. And then there's going to be some amount of people who are here for, you know, to glean something else. But I don't want to waste anyone's time, right? By getting live and not having like a lesson plan for the day. But like I said at the beginning of the live stream is, listen, I'm not here. I don't really feel like doing anything today. I don't feel like doing oh, I was on the wrong screen maybe. I don't feel like doing anything but taking this trade. And I don't want to do a lesson plan today about some topic. I literally got live on a whim. People talked about it. I think it's interesting. I think this kind of high here probably ends up playing towards the major ideas. I mean, it gives us a lot of information. Like the major ideas, you should expect to see that something like this. You probably shouldn't take this high for the major ideas. That'd be, for my major ideas anyways. Breaking this breaks massive structural bearish ideas. I mean, breaking up out of this trend line, okay, you can run through it a little bit. Taking this high, taking these highs, I mean, it changes the whole context here. We have all this kind of horizontal stuff flipping back to resistance, previous high, previous low, previous low. So it's interesting. It's kind of an interesting place to be, an interesting moment to be live. And for me, it's an interesting place to short or not short, depending on what happens here. But, you know, then you have an hour or 2 hours of essentially dead space to kill. And you have people complaining about things, and you talk about it and share your thoughts on it. Someone's asking, historically, you've primarily focused on Bybit order flow as opposed to Binance. What's the rationale with Bybit being the focus, at least more in the past? I found, in my opinion, that I didn't find Binance's order flow reliable. I mean, there was some speculation maybe that it was just nonsense, but I've been looking at it more. I hadn't looked at it in a long time. It seems okay, but I'm kind of live testing it, I guess, currently against Bybit's order flow, just making note of it, maybe using it as some confluence. I think generally it's behaving sometime in a way that is polar to Bybit's, but at least in a way that makes sense and seems possible. I mean, I'm not going to do it now because it just takes too long to load up and too long to go through, but I could pull up some order flow that, I mean, essentially should just be impossible. And that you just have to assume the data is not very clean. I mean, if the clean data is essential, order flow is telling you like what traders are actually doing, right? The positions that are actually coming on, what are they risk on, risk off, aggressive longs, aggressive shorts. And if the data is just made up, then it's not going to be very actionable, right? So that's always the primary goal, is data that is real when looking at order flow, that you should be looking for. As far as alts go, I'm not looking to short any alts here. I mean, I could talk a little bit about alts. I mean, I think generally I'm just along the same times that I'm looking for swing longs on Bitcoin. I'll be looking for swing longs on alts, XRP, ADA, Doge. I actually did mention some of this in the Discord as well. Let's pull this up. If I go to the alt charts, you know, on ADA, looking for this as the major idea, down to the GP, take this wick low. Again, this was a couple weeks ago. Even here on XRP, like this idea of rejecting off this trend line, there's a local GP here. We ended up rejecting from, taking these lows. Just looking for ultimately on a higher time frame, lower on everything. That was up here, XRP very near some of these higher time frame targets. 20% pullback down into this wick region. ADA quite a ways away from it. I have to reevaluate this depending on what happens, but 30% away. We'll see. $15 minutes to the New York Open. Probably more and more likely that something like this comes. But if we're going to get these highs, and it's possible we don't. We'll see though. Higher low here would be nice. Yeah, Frank, I think you lost some credibility just when you lied about being a paid member, in my view. So your opinion sort of becomes worthless. Sam saying, "Hey, Lucky, the one thing I've been having trouble incorporating in my trading is using order flow. It is hard to focus on technicals properly, take the trade while keeping an eye on order flow data." Um, well, here's something I would suggest that might help you is like the technical aspect of the trading. Like, let's just say this, right? Like the idea that I longed, the scalp idea I longed, is coming and taking these lows. You know, you have a nice fib retracement to the 618, take these lows, and maybe rally towards the highs into the New York Open. So that's the technical idea. I could come up with that idea up here, right? I don't need to wait till this is here. And then the order flow idea, well, I already know the levels here, right? The levels here, price is at the level. And so I don't need to watch the technicals here. I need to watch and see what's happening at the level in order flow. And so as price comes into the lows, you see all this aggressive shorting, right? You can see it on the profile here. Aggressive selling, aggressive selling, aggressive selling, open interest increasing. So I know that there's risk coming in at the level. This is right at the level. There's really aggressive selling and shorting coming into the level. Long starting to hold price up. And even here, as price rotates back in, we get a bullish divergence, really aggressive selling. Down at the lows, aggressive risk, and there's actually a bit of aggressive short risk coming on now. So I just know price at the level. So it's not so hard to watch this, right? Like you already know price is at the level. This is where you want to long, and you're just watching order flow, and you're either seeing what you want to see in order flow, which is aggressive selling, aggressive short risk coming on, and price holding up or not. And you just use it as a confluence. It doesn't mean the trade's going to work. That would be how you would use order flow as a confluence here. Does it support the trade idea at all? And sometimes it's a little more neutral. Sometimes I would say this is like a strong confluence, right? A strong confluence for this type of idea, which is heavy, aggressive, short risk coming on right at the level and then getting squeezed out. So hopefully that brief explanation helps a little bit. Dave Chen says, "Why can't I reply, people?" I don't know. These are. This isn't really that important of a question. Somebody says, "How many monitors do you recommend we use? What does your setup look like?" It just depends what you want to look at, right? So like if you're not looking at order flow and if you want to look at trading view and order flow and have your trading account pulled up, well, probably hard to squish that all onto one screen, so 2 screens might be useful. But if you ask like a new trader or answer to a new trader, how many screens should you have? Well, it depends what you're looking at. It's like a practical thing. And obviously you can squeeze a lot of things onto one screen. Like I see people say kind of dumb things, which is like something like you don't need anything but a phone to trade. Well, of course, right? But it's going to be hard if you want to watch order flow, exo charts. You don't need anything but a phone to put on a trade. You don't need more than one screen. It's just about what's comfortable, right? And so for me, I find having 2 screens helpful. I find having 2 screens and a phone helpful. Could I trade with 1 screen? Of course. But does it matter if you're not looking at any of these things? No. So I don't even think it's a complicated, it's not a complicated question to answer for yourself, because it's just like, what do you want to look at it? What do you want to look at, and how do you want to look at it? And if you don't even know what you want to look at, then no screens, I guess. If you want to look at one thing, then 1 screen. If you don't want it to be squashed together, then 2 screens. Yeah, you can trade these minor ideas without order flow. It's like anything. Is order flow going to help you manage your trades better or execute them better if you're not really experienced with it? Probably not. I mean, there's some. I would say this. I would say like the number one thing you should use order flow for, if you're going to use it at all as a beginner, is just extreme cases, right? Like, whoa, that is a lot of aggressive buyers coming in at these highs, like something that you rarely see, and whenever you do, it's a high probability chance. Like trying to kind of get the nuance out of order flow, probably not going to be very helpful. So I would just say, generally speaking, probably best to say use it as a strong confluence for a trade, like oh, I'm gonna take this trade because it's a really strong confluence that you maybe wouldn't take otherwise, or you might be looking for a trade you maybe wouldn't look for otherwise, or use it as a strong counter indicator. So if something really bearish happens at a bullish level, then maybe you could use that as a way to fade a long you were going to take, or something really bullish happens, vice versa, right? Like if something really bearish happened here, where I was going to take a long otherwise, maybe I don't take it. And if it's kind of neutral, then you could kind of say you could ignore it. I think that's the best way to think about it, maybe. But trying to always have like an order flow framework for what you're doing, probably not good. It's that's pretty tough to do. I mean, I don't think you really can do that, right? You can't really form a meaningful bias at every single moment, probably, with order flow. Five minutes to the open. So, I mean, we'll see here. But the more that price is not doing, we'll see. I think this all becomes a lot more likely if we're going to see the highs take these lows. And it's sort of like it's right into this GP too. It's kind of like a fade the open type idea, I guess. Oh, I was on the wrong screen. We'll see what happens here. But opens in 5 minutes. So I think all this looks a little bit more likely. Come and take these lows if we're going to take these highs. And there's this idea that whatever the open does, like if it opens down, then you fade it and you trade long, or if it impulses to the upside, then you fade it and you trade short. It's a little bit more of a nuanced trade than that, I think, but fading the open is sort of that general idea. All right. A little bit of a bullish divergence forming here on Bybit. Not as much on chop longs here on Binance. Yeah, Benjamin, that's basically the idea. Like, you can just look at it like the aggressive buyers and sellers are trying to push price in a certain direction or have a certain intention, and how easy is price going in the direction those aggressive buyers and sellers want it to go? Is there a consensus, or is it really struggling, and that creates a divergence, right? If there's really aggressive selling and price just can't go down, then that creates a divergence. Someone asking, how do we get the footprint bar statistics? Can we copy your settings? There's a template in the members Discord. I don't have it shared publicly, but probably if you ask nicely, someone will pirate it to you. New York opens in 1 minute. I mean, this is where you can, right at the open, you can see some volatility. I'd be kind of interested to see here if we just bounce off these local lows again and rally to the highs, or break down and take our local low. We'll see what order flow looks like. Little bounce at the open. I lean towards higher probably, but it doesn't really matter here. I mean, this is just sort of kind of noise. Just want to short the highs. Maybe this could be pretty interesting. Probably have to long something like that into the open if we get a quick move through these lows. Sort of the double bottom there. Probably bounce now, or we're taking that other low. More aggressive shorting coming in here. See all this aggressive sellers increasing open interest. This is definitely bouncing New York open vibes here. Just trap a bunch of shorts, and it kind of plays into the fade the move type rally, or fade the open. You basically have the New York open, price moves to the downside, retest these lows. You have really aggressive shorters coming in here, and then price just squeezes them out. It's kind of a matter of if this low comes or this low, but you can see, I mean, if you, I guess, go back and watch the live stream, my attention was a little split there. But you can see all these, the aggressive selling that came in here, negative delta, increasing open interest, aggressive shorting, getting squeezed down to the open. So, I mean, that's a confluence for a local long setup. Hopefully we just impulse through the highs here in the next 30 minutes. I mean, that's probably about as long as I'm willing to stay alive. And we can evaluate the short idea. I'll say this. I have to say one more thing here because it's just grating on my nerves here. Frank, you're in here from the day you joined complaining about how the last paid group you were in, which by the way you weren't in my paid group, the leader wasn't doing enough, not showing up enough, not giving you, you know, you don't have experience, complaining that other community members aren't doing enough. You've posted nothing of value really at all ever in here. I mean, you thanked me for answering some of your questions and then complained. I never have even come close to thinking about doing something like you're doing. Thinking about what, I mean, literally in my brain, it's never even crossed my mind to be thinking about what other people are going to do for me to make me succeed, and that the other people aren't doing enough work for me. That mindset is going to get you nowhere in life. All I think about is what more can I do, how I don't do enough. That's all I think about. I don't think about what other people are doing. So loser mentality, and then complain about it to random people on the internet. It's like absolute loser mentality. You'll get nowhere in life thinking that way. I'm taking a long trade. I mean, I'm up $4,000 in the last minute. So Martin saying, we still talking about this Frank guy? I mean, I'm in a long. I'm gonna hopefully take a short up here. And I'm talking about Frank because I'm bored sitting here on a live stream waiting for the highs to come. All right. Like I said, it's very unlikely I don't cover this long into these highs. And looking to short up here, something. Always using risk management, super aggressive. So anyways, we know the levels that's coming. So let's look at order flow, and we can assess this a little bit. There's no certainties, obviously. So we can see this, like, look at all this really aggro longing coming in on Binance and Bybit. That's what we're looking to fade. I mean, for me, this is just another day. I honestly, I'm not saying price needs to reject here, but it's like the same. You're shocked that people are willing to take these trades because look at all this super aggro longing, aggro risk up at the highs. It's so stupid that it's. I mean, of course, price can break out. It wouldn't be the first time that's ever happened, but I just don't know how this is the trade that people are taking at the open here. Longing up into these highs. I'm probably gonna start locking in something off of my scalp long, and hoping for a little higher to take the short. This is pretty. This is a lot of aggro longing at the highs. So hopefully we can actually run the highs here. We ran the first local high. It's kind of annoying because there's some scenarios here where we just don't take these highs. And anything in here is kind of a scalp. Like, if you try to short this, I mean, you're literally covering potentially here. So, not really much to talk about here. You want to take these highs. more importantly, these highs, maybe this little region up here tags the downtrend. And you have this Wednesday impulse that's quite fadeable. It's kind of nice to, you know, this is just a nice little session to trade because you have this volatility. Like you tag these local lows, you have the really aggro shorters get squeezed out, so you get a nice little long setup and potentially a nice short setup, and then you're off for the day, and those trades either work or they don't. But yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit for higher. Alternatively, I've got to start. I mean, if we literally don't see higher, which I think is unlikely, you just got to start looking for different internal structures to start trading around. Hopefully this washes out pretty quick and carries higher. I don't feel comfortable taking, again, anything but a super low time frame scalp without taking these highs. Seems unlikely that we don't. Someone's asking, yeah, I mean, there's there's lots of someone saying you go long, glad to hear. There's lots of long ideas, right? I mean, even within the bearish ideas, like at the highs here, believe it or not, I was talking about at the highs from this trendline rejection some weeks ago. I was talking about all of these ideas down here, right? Like coming and putting this high in right above the GP, make this low. Literally this chart before any of this price structure formed, I had drawn out. So I mean, I'm planning all of this up here. I already that's what's sort of boring about some of this is I already know what I'm looking to trade here. Like I literally know what I'm looking to trade here. So you talk about it like 30 times. That's all you can really do. And the only interesting thing I guess is maybe being live during taking some of those trades. But what is there really to say about any of this? So far, relatively predictable price action. It's not really a number that I'm going to start shorting. It's I want to see what happens up at these highs. And hopefully we can just impulse through them one time. But this front run's looking a little bit, I mean, we'll see what happens over the next half hour here, but a little bit of aggressive shorting coming in here. So this is where you can get that last little squeeze somewhat reliably. Is like we get down into the low time frames. You have the initial impulse, really aggressive longs coming in, and then some of this local structure starts forming, and people start shorting aggressively into this, selling aggressively, and then we get the impulse. Still kind of leave some of that long liquidity intact, hopefully. Trap more longs, squeeze out all the shorts, and then rotate to the downside. But as far as just the reactions here, yes, you can get in here and scalp some of this, but Like you're really not, I'm at the 15-second chart here. You're really not looking to hold anything here for literally more than this type of price action. Like equal low, higher low, take the high. All this kind of forms into a range pretty reliably. So anyways, we might get the high here, squeeze out those local shorts that are coming in. We'll get off the 15-second chart. And again, we're just looking, we know where price is. We don't need to look at the trading view chart. We know we're just looking to take these highs, and you can see some of these aggressive shorts that came in here starting to get squeezed out. And I'll say this, if you're not an experienced trader, don't trade this at all. I mean, part of the reason I hate getting live is because there's two groups, and one's a lot smaller than the other. One is people who, for example, members in the Discord, they've been members for a year, and they're just hanging out, chilling, probably going to trade some of these same ideas anyways, maybe looking to hear a little bit about what you have to say in this particular case, but they know how to structure their trades, manage their risk, etc. Then there's just complete beginners who have no idea about just the basic concepts of trading, and they're trying to trade anyways. And of course, I don't want to cater every moment of my life to those people. There's a lot of important and available quote unquote content for you, and it's just not live trading with meaningful money on April 2nd's New York Open, looking to short a move. So anyways, there's only so much I can say about that. I'm not going to explain how to trade. So there's the impulse on today's live stream. The big impulse, big aggressive longs. And this is ultimately what I'm looking to fade. Like, I don't need a lot here to start scaling into my short. I just need something. I need some reason to get short. There's the GP 618 tapped, local high taken, and I have a little bit of that long running still too, so I'm going to be hopefully, but we'll see. We'll wait for something, closing some of that long and taking this short. Now this is a region here, no reason to get short yet, price just impulsing straight up. Incredible how much aggro long is coming in here. It's actually like how anyone's able to take these trades, I don't know how they're willing to. It's like of course it might work for them, so we'll see, but my gut is no. I'm counter trading it regardless, so either I'm right or I'm wrong. Won't take much more for me to start getting short here, start scaling into that short. I'm just looking for price to start holding up, and I've started scaling into my short. There's a bit of a region above. I'll point it out in a moment. I always forget to update the Discord. I'll not do that this time. Yeah, I always forget to update the Discord when I'm live. All right. So it's really not, I don't think, a complicated idea here. I mean, even the scalp long into these highs, not really a complicated idea. It's like either price rejects here or it doesn't. The idea, of course, is forming another lower high into this uptrend. And price certainly, it's a bit of a region here, go a little higher, and this primary idea is still probably intact here. Like up into this region. Probably do not want to see these highs start getting taken. That would be a little concerning. At least to reevaluate the idea. But yeah, just come up, take these highs into the downtrending structure. If this breaks out, then cut the short. Be sized appropriately so that's not a very painful loss, targeting these local lows. And you kind of have the nice confluence of taking these highs right into the local 618, right into the New York Open, with some pretty aggressive longs coming in here at the highs. Nice big volume. A lot of risk coming in at the highs. Bit of a region. Scale in a bit. Reaching the upper bounds of that region right now. It's a little tempting to see here about potentially scaling in a little more, but I'm going to let some of this local structure play out. We have another 10 minutes until the new hourly candle. Gonna have the last of the local highs tapped. This sort of being really the upper bounds of what I would suspect is compelling to short here, and probably want to start seeing price reject somewhere in here. Some more aggressive shorting coming in on this candle on Binance. Or Bybit rather. I'm happy to squeeze a little bit higher. I mean, I'm certainly cautious, but not overly worried. More just interested in being short here with appropriate size. But you can see some aggressive sellers coming in here on Bybit. Aggressive selling here, but this is risk on mostly. Almost a 700 million volume candle on Bybit, 300 million on Binance on the 5 minute. Sorry, reverse that. Probably gonna squeeze a little higher. If we break out of this, then hey, there's some bullish ideas towards higher, but be interesting to see what happens here. Some major, all our major trending structure is arguably untapped locally. We have these little local highs here to come up and run for some scenarios. But of course, you know, I would just say that generally speaking, this is the type of order flow I would be just looking to short. Like right now, there's two ways to perceive what's happening here. And one is it's just another normal day, right? It's just another normal day of nothing is going to happen. It's not the moment. It's not the breakout of the century here. And the other that, oh my God, what is happening? Price is going up and it's probably going to go up a lot more. And maybe someone knows something I don't. And aggressive traders are reacting that way. They're reacting like Like, who could have seen this coming? Like, this is crazy. Where price is going straight up. I don't want to miss this. This is the moment. And so you have these hundreds of millions of dollars of risk coming in aggressively, at market longing into this. And to me, it's not to say that this couldn't be the moment or something atypical happening, but to me, this is literally what I'm trading for the New York Open. It's like yawn, boring, long these lows, squeeze out some early shorts, trap a bunch of aggressive longs into the impulse into the New York Open, and you're shocked, but it's going to happen in a way that, for some reason, everybody wants to long this, even though it's the most predictable, stupid idea ever. Although I'll hold by that even if we go higher, frankly, because it's just the same thing you see every day, and you see it again here today, and you short it. And typically, if you are willing to short this, you're gonna probably make money in the long run. Just use risk management. Occasionally, these guys will make money. I assume that's why they do it. But yeah, there's a lot of people just surprised right now, I guess. And to me, this isn't really surprising price action. If I get stopped out of shorts, I made a little bit off the longs. It's all good. Yeah, so far so good, actually, in terms of what you want to see. I mean, I wouldn't mind just seeing another push up to these highs, but the core idea is kind of in play here now, and price running back down is probably coming in most of the bear scenarios. So there it is. Caught a long, caught a short. Really exciting stuff. In these situations, I'm more looking for reasons to get short than I am looking for reasons to take on some risk. Like when price was coming up into this level, I said I'm just kind of looking for anything. Like, I'm not going to short price just literally going straight up, wait for those highs to get taken. But once I see that big influx of aggressive positions coming in right into the key level, I'm willing to start putting on some risk to counter trade that. I already know, like I said earlier, what I want to trade, and I'm not looking for reasons not to trade this, right? Like, I think that's where, whether this trade works or not, I don't know, but maybe some people will say, well, okay, I want to wait for, now they see the initial move, this looks really bullish, it's really quick, and so they are looking for reasons to get in the trade while also looking for reasons not to get into it. And so maybe they just don't ever get short in here, and this all kind of spooks them out, and now they're waiting for maybe another sweep of the highs, which may or may not come, and they want to get short off of that. I think that's reasonable, but now they're not short if this happens, and the whole idea just runs away from them. And even though this was, I'm not saying that this is some great short that, I mean, I think it's a decent idea, but that if you miss it, you're an idiot. But I am saying that if your whole plan was essentially to short this into the New York Open all day, and whether you longed up into it or not, and you get this and you get everything you want, you get the order flow, you get everything right at the session open, and then you just can't take the trade because you're just waiting for some little thing to happen in here that's not happening, I think that's probably a mistake. You fade the big broad idea, and you're not willing to put on any risk. So that's my view. Yeah, you can wait for a swing failure. Someone's asking, can you wait for a swing failure? Meaning, can you wait for price to get below this high? For sure. You can just say, like, I'll take the short once price is trading below here. I mean, I would just say that for me, it's very unlikely under this particular case that, whether price says this or this, that we aren't going to be at least trading below this high for some moment in time is very unlikely. So whether I'm short here or in this particular case short here, it's all sort of the same idea, I think. No. Someone's asking, do I look at USDT dominance when entering a trade? No. Only can look at so many things, right? And it's like, so the basic premise, I've talked about this before, is some confluence from USDT dominance not gonna, is it going to stop me from taking a trade I would have otherwise taken by the things I'm already looking at? No. So if it's not going to, is it going to cause me to take a trade I wouldn't otherwise take? Probably not. So if it's not going to cause me to take a trade I wouldn't otherwise take, and it's not going to stop me from taking a trade I would otherwise take, then why even look at it? You can only look at so much. This is all, this is all important in a way because we've just seen a lot of these aggressive longs crushed here. Aggressive longs, tight stops, they usually go, tight liquidations, tight stops usually go hand in hand. So we see all this aggressive risk on aggressive traders risk on here, and then we see a lot of them stopped out. Negative delta. This is kind of interesting. Big long position just opened up here. 54 million positive delta here. Increase. This is like a single position. How is that possible? 54 million. Kind of crazy. Price didn't even slip through that. 54 million market long there. Surprising. Some really aggressive selling. But this is sort of, believe it or not, sort of what you want to see for the bear scenarios is you want to see aggressive longs probably stopping out aggressively and then reopening really aggressively. This is like this is a crazy 54 million and this tick of price filled here. Risk on. Okay. I don't even know what to really think about that. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised maybe to see a bit of a squeeze higher. See all this risk coming out again. This is kind of interesting order flow. This is not typical. To have essentially 200 million delta candles, 250 million negative delta candles here relative to this volume, kind of near the highs. That's some pretty aggressive selling into this rejection. People are essentially trading the same ideas here that I'm trading, just in reverse, right? Which is I'm shorting the fake out, and they're longing the breakout, right? So they're saying price is going to break out, so they're longing it. I'm saying price is going to fake out, so I'm shorting it. But we're trading the same major idea, which is they're expecting something really important to happen here, and I'm expecting something really important to happen here. And there's a lot of interest, right? So we're seeing all these positions coming in. This isn't typical volume. It's kind of typical to a major session, I suppose, but it's not like if you scroll through here, it's not going to be typical your average 5-minute candle volume, right? And price is at a major level, aggressive longs, getting scared when it rejects. So why are they selling aggressively on this rejection? Because now they're thinking, kind of like I'm thinking, is, oh, it's going to fake out. They don't want to be short. They sell They sell aggressively into this, and now price is rallying. They're saying, oh, it's going to break out. They're longing aggressively, and this creates a lot of liquidity, I guess. So longs trying again here, aggressive longs trying again. We'll see what happens. But of course, this is how you start entering into a little bit of a choppy, either a choppy ranging environment or choppy trending environment, which is you basically just have big positions getting chopped up here. And the thing that kind of makes these major levels interesting is so many people want to trade this because it seems like something big should be happening here, right? Like, one perspective is there's no way all these lower highs are going to hold, and I'm sure there's a lot of people just in this trading this idea of there's no way the downtrend's going to hold, and part of me feels that way just looking at this chart, which is there's no way we just lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high without just ripping through some of these highs, even to trap some longs and rip out all the shorts. But so people are longing into this idea of like, here it is. We're gonna at least take these highs, and I understand it, but I think what is important to recognize is that absolutely nothing is happening here, except that the idea of something happening here is at play, and this is where people get really trapped. Not just with breakouts, but we could break out, of course, but I'm just saying we haven't broken out yet, and a lot of people end up trading towards not what is happening, but to the idea of something happening, and that's a kind of a risky spot to be in, or a risky way to think about your trades. Like, for example, let's just say like you're short down here because you think what's going to happen is, yeah, I think price might take these highs, but I think we're just going to see a bunch of aggressive longs and then trap them and rotate down, so I'll just enter here because I don't want to miss the short. There's a big difference, even if we do rotate to the downside, between shorting the idea of what is going to happen here and shorting what is happening, because it's much different to take the highs, see all the aggressive longs get trapped, reject, and then take the short than it is to anticipate that happening, because what could happen is the price could just rip through this level, and instead of taking a trade based on what you see happening, you're taking a trade based on what you're predicting will happen. Bro saying, or he's saying, bro, dominance skyrocketing. When alt season? Cry face. I don't know. I literally don't care about dominance in this context at all. I just want to be short into this downtrend as much as possible for the bearish ideas. Willing to take longs, obviously. This is a nice little idea into the open, but I think this is all really important. All these new aggressive longs starting to get punished a little bit. We're sort of entering into this choppy ranging environment. Locally, like, now all of this comes into play. I'm not gonna sit live for it, but it's like there's kind of two ways that this plays out bearishly. I'm not gonna talk about, people always ask me, and it's one of the most annoying things, like, say I'm gonna short here, it's just annoying because the answer's so obvious. They say, like, if I'm gonna take a short here, they'll say, okay, but what's the bullish idea here if price doesn't reject? Do you long? Well, it's like, well, the bullish idea if price doesn't reject here is that price doesn't reject and it breaks out, right? So that's the bullish idea. Like, the bullish idea here, if you want a bullish idea from here, it's that price goes straight up. There's no other idea from here that isn't just price going straight up. You could retrace to these lows, which is all in the context of a breakdown. So anyways, there's no need to talk about what about the case where price just goes straight up. Well, then it goes straight up. and you can watch it go straight up, and hopefully you don't sit in a short when it does. But as far as local ideas here go, you're basically looking for either a downtrend to start forming. You have all these local lows that are in play for potential ranging situations, and we've front run this trend line up above with these local highs. And so I really think for bearish ideas you have two ideas to look at, which is ranging price action, probably off of local lows and local highs. This would be, in my estimation, depending on especially what's happening in order flow, a stellar tight short setup. And you might find some scalp long setups in here, but the other alternative is just we start trending into really bearish price action. I think most of the really legitimate looking ideas, in my view, I could be wrong, well, this downtrend is holding, whether you're macro bullish from these lows or you think we're going to go lower, I think all of the really strong ideas include taking these local lows, and probably at least one, but I would assume at least this, and that could carry higher. I'm going to be looking for longs down here, but even the bearish ideas probably include some kind of bounce off here. It doesn't have to be down towards the 67K level. But one of the cool things about having people, you could call it a system, but I'd say just some systematic way of trading is I already know every trade I'm going to take back here, right? I already know, I literally have every one of these ideas drawn on my chart, including this low and this high and this long and this short back here. So you just know the types of ideas you're going to be willing to trade and what you're going to need to trade them. And so there's no surprise. It's not, you don't know which trades are going to work. You just know exactly what you're going to be doing. And then you're just waiting for those. And of course you can be better or worse at, I guess, anticipating some of those variations, or, I think what people struggle with is just planning out, making it a plan and having any kind of idea. Like they're just kind of watching candles minute to minute and being like, what the fuck, what's going on? Oh, I guess I should be long, I guess I should be short. And they don't actually have any kind of plan for what they're doing, and that's going to get you in a lot of trouble. They're always reacting, always surprised. But yeah, we're sort of in a bit of a ranging type of look forming on price action. We'll see. Anyways, I'm short from here. I might add higher. I may cut if we break out of here. There could be some interesting things that happen down here that start looking a little bit more bullish, but I think whether a little higher or not, the shorts here make sense to me. The other possibility is taking some hedge longs. So I ended up long off of this idea into these highs. The other idea is potentially looking for something like this. I probably will. If I'm awake. I'm not going to stay awake for it or anything, but just this idea doesn't look so bad in this local structure to I'll be a little wary of the more bearish case here. Look what's happening, but even this doesn't look so bad, does it? Probably will take a hedge long down here somewhere. Take this low. And then ultimately, if we get the quick rejection, like you end up with this sort of nice little scalp long into the open, short. This could be carried as a bit more of a swing trade for me anyways. You might end up with this nice little long setup, get a TP1 in here somewhere, carry the rest back to the highs while holding the short, and for me, maybe add back to my short up here. This is probably a hedge I'm willing to take if we don't just nuke through these lows. All right, well, that's my thoughts here. Of course, like when I say I know which trades I'm going to take way back here and I could draw this out on my chart, essentially, I mean on the time frame that's available, right? I don't know all this internal price action is going to exist, but I know the types of ideas that I'll be looking for within the internal structure. So this looks kind of interesting though, around 83,800. Just come run this low and run the highs again. Gonna hold my short through that regardless, but yeah. Well, yeah. So Freddie says even if it goes straight up, your target is probably not a lot higher, so the win expectancy of a bullish idea is shit. Yeah, I mean, there's something just to be said about how, like, if you think about how these traders are actually trading this, what is their, frankly, just absolutely moronic idea here? I mean, and it's not that this trade can't work. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. And it's never worked. But it's so stupid because, and the reason I said I'm shocked that people are even willing to take this trade because you see this every day. It's like this is the type of short you would take every day. This is the type of move that never works or never carries. And even if it does, it comes with this so often that what is the idea of longing this with literally this is your stop loss, your liquidation, whatever it is. It's so dumb because this is never going to play. And your target is like here. And so, I don't know. And it's the trade that everyone wants to take. That's where you see the most aggressive positions coming on. And it's so predictably stupid that I'm literally longing into this idea from here and looking to short this. I mean, I'm looking to short this from yesterday. Like, I'll just share this in the Discord. I'm just saying how this is in the members Discord, but just willing to short up at these highs, looking for signs of weakness. There are none there. This is yesterday. I said personally happy to let price carry higher, develop some weakness. We'll be planning shorting something. Just don't want to short into this grinding price action. Have this GP drawn up above. And anyways, just being a little bit patient, but all of this is so predictable, I guess. It's just crazy that this is the long that everybody wants to take. But I think I don't know. I don't know what people think. There's just something, I think they're just surprised. They're like, oh, whoa, we're breaking out. I knew it. I should have been long. And they're reacting to this as something uniquely bullish or crazy, but I don't think so. Of course, I'm not really going to be eating my words, even if we break out, because the premise kind of still remains the same. It's kind of a bad long and probably an okay short. And there's a difference between the two. Like this being a bad long doesn't make necessarily a short good. There's certainly a difference. Because this is just a long that's not going to work a lot of the times. This starts looking kind of interesting, but I'm gonna go with this as the main idea for my hedge. All right. I don't really have, yeah, Frank, I don't really have hard feelings. I don't have a lot of patience for people whose default is complaining, really. It's just, trust me, your number one problems will always be that you aren't doing what you should be doing, could be doing. It's never going to be that other people aren't doing enough for you to succeed. It's just never going to be the case. And if you spend more time complaining about that than just thinking about what you should be and could be doing. I also don't like liars. I don't like people lying and saying I was a paid member and when it was pretty clear they weren't. I understand like the like impulse to sort of just kind of cover your ass a little bit and be like, oh, I look stupid, I'm just going to say that, but I don't know. Just rubs me the wrong way. All right. Well, here we are.